So, Aquaman. Being, a big Marvel fan, I could really care less about DC Universe right now, but I was a big fan of the DC Universe back when I was a kid. I did grow up watching the Super Friends. I love Batman. I still love Wonder Woman in the whole DC Universe. And Aquaman was okay for me. I started getting interested in the Aquaman character when DC decided to do the New 52. And Jeff Johns started writing the Aquaman book. That's when I really got interested with the hero, with the superhero. And after Justice League, there was a lot of buzz about Jason Momoa being probably the perfect Aquaman. I decided to give the movie a chance. And I went through the movie not expecting anything. And sure enough, I was pleasantly surprised at how well it turned out. I mean, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. It's actually pretty okay. It uses a lot of the comic book material, and that's actually what's nice about it. They used a ton of comic book material and mythology and all that. They got it right down even to the to the outfits, and I was very, very, very pleased at how well they executed it. If at all. But having said that, because they used a lot of the comic book material, the movie for me turned out to be very, very predictable. There wasn't a lot of surprises here and there. You knew that it was gonna it was gonna happen this way and this way. They used using a lot of the characters in the comic books, like Orm as Ocean Master, Aquaman, Mera. It was very predictable up to the last minute, and that could be a good thing, because that really, I thought that really serviced a lot of the comic book fans, and that was great. The other thing I didn't like, the other thing I liked about the movie was the visual effects, the scenery, that whole thing. It was like Guardians of the Galaxy and Wakanda and Black Panther combined. It was great. I thought it was probably one of the best visual effects movie that DC has ever had. The problem is Marvel had already done Guardians of the Galaxy, and Marvel has already done the Black Panther. So there was really nothing new. I thought it was great. Under the sea, it was like a futuristic city under the oceans and the seas, but it was great, but nothing that really blew my mind away, because Marvel had already done it. As for the characters, I loved the characters. I thought the casting was absolutely spot on in this movie. My absolute favorite has got to be Queen Atlana. Nicole Kidman just was amazing in that role. I loved Mera. Mera was great. I mean, Jason Momoa, everybody expected him to do well, and he did. He did not disappoint in his role as Aquaman. But the supporting characters of Queen Atlana and Mera, Amber Heard was amazing. I did not expect both those characters to be absolutely spot on their characters. It's like, again, like I said, casting was amazing, and I thought they were made for those roles. They were born to do those roles. Supporting characters like Aquaman's dad, King Orm, we get the Green Goblin is now Willem Dafoe. Is now the Vizier. I thought he was great. I really thought he was great. I had no idea he could play a good guy. After playing the Green Goblin, I've always seen him as a villain. But I guess that's how it goes now. The good guys become bad guys become good guys. Like Catwoman is now Janet Van Dyne. Batman has now become the Vulture, so I guess it's not surprising at all. Okay, throughout the whole movie, again, very predictable story, but I do like the story. They kept it simple. They kept it straightforward. He's a guy under a reluctant king, but he is going to be worthy. You can already see it. He is going to be king, and it's just a matter of watching how it pans out. It was like actually watching a WWE movie. WWE, they make movies like The Marine and all that. And I keep waiting and I keep expecting like one of the other wrestler was about to show up. Like I don't know, like Goldberg or or Shawn Michaels would show up or something like that. It just felt like that. It was a rompy, just really ludicrous scenario plot of a story, and it was like you knew it was gonna how it was gonna end, and it was just like it was a lot of fun watching how it played out. Okay, there was a scene that it was returning to its Snyder roots. I mean, DC Comics really had to put in a Snyder scene when Aquaman is facing off with King Orm, and that fight got boring in just a few seconds. It was boring. I thought, this is signature DC fight scenes. It's the problem with DC is they keep wanting to make their characters godlike, all powerful, super powerful, and it will become boring. That's probably the reason why people want to watch Marvel more, because Marvel is very relatable. They're human characters. They have flaws. They're not all powerful. They could do anything, like Green Lantern, Superman. You know, that's why I like Batman. I like Wonder Woman because they're not, well, Wonder Woman, yes, to a certain extent, but you know, they made Aquaman like an underwater Superman, and that whole fight scene to me was boring. Okay. And then it pans out. It was great. There was like a Disney moment when Mera and Aquaman were having it sort of like a date in Sicily, and I was like, oh, this is sort of kind of Disney. And finally, the last scene where he becomes Aquaman. I kept looking for a Martha moment, and I was like, this movie, is it gonna have a Martha moment? And sure enough, DC did not disappoint. There was a big Martha moment, and you know, Aquaman has been the butt of jokes in the whole Justice League or Super Friends, whatever, because he talks to fish. And ironically, talking to the fish is actually what saved him. And it's like, Julie Andrews plays the best cameo role as the voice of the Chefatron, the most powerful being in the whole planet, Chefatron. It was like a giant Godzilla squid. I'll get to that in a while. But he's about to crush Aquaman, and Aquaman just talks to it, stop. And like the Chefatron goes, you can talk to me? Oh my God, we can talk. We talk about a lot of stuff. Wow, we gotta be besties. Oh my God, that was the Martha moment. And to me, I was like the only one in the theater laughing. Everyone was like, what? What's going on? I was like laughing like crazy because it was stupid. I know, right? Talking to the fish can save your ass. So I was like, what? Okay. The other thing was like Julie Andrews, Mary Poppins becoming the most powerful being on the planet, like a big giant Godzilla squid. And I was like, why did they have to look like Godzilla? I mean, it was great that there was this beast that Aquaman could control. I wish they would have made it like a real giant squid, like a squid with arms. I think they made it. They went crazy with it, and they gave it arms, legs, and a dinosaur head. And I was like, when are the Jaegers coming in? Are the Jaegers gonna just go beat this thing up? And it was stupid. I wish they could have not copied too many things with Aquaman. I wish they would have made it just a big giant squid with like creepy tentacles. That would have been okay with me, but they decided to go the Godzilla kaiju way. So, okay. Anyway, the final ending was like, okay, again, you knew what was going to happen. I just wish that, you know, there was a lot more, you know, narrative to convince the audience that Aquaman was really the worthy king. I mean, not just because he got the trident, not just because he got the new outfit. It was really because of his spirit and his soul that made him king. I wish there was more of that. And that's probably the reason why Marvel, that's how Marvel edges DC with the storytelling. DC just wants to be edgy and dark and make you notice them and make you different. They're sort of alternative. But in any movie, in any superhero movie, you take out all the special effects and all the heroes and all the mythology of that. It's really the story that matters. And to me, the story was a little bit shallow. And I wish there was more to it than just being worthy of the trident. And I got the bigger trident now, and I'm going to beat you, and so I'm king. So I wish, you know, he was king. He did show that merciful king aspect, but it was in the last minute, and I thought that was a little bit too late. And I wish throughout the movie we would have seen how merciful he was. He was strong, badass, and all that, but he had a kind heart, and I wish we would have explored more of that so that in the end he would really be convinced that yes, he is the true king of Atlantis, not because of his trident or his new look or because he's the illegitimate heir to the throne, whatever, but because he is Aquaman. He is worthy because he has a good heart, in a kind spirit. And I thought that probably would have made a difference in all. One final funny thing that I thought was, Mera announces, "I give you King Arthur of Atlantis." And I was like, okay, what's wrong with that sentence? And I was the only one laughing in the theater because I thought that was funny. It's very cheesy, cheeky and all that, but I thought it was very funny. So all in all, I thought the whole movie was okay. It's not a bad film. It definitely is better than the Batman versus Superman and the Man of Steel movies, but not better than Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman to me is still the best DC universe or expanded universe, whatever movie that Warner Brothers has done, and I hope they don't change any of the formula for making Wonder Woman. I think that's still the best. Good second is Aquaman. I think Aquaman is a big giant step forward for the DC franchise. It leaps and bounds. It is one great improvement on the dark Snyder universe that DC has been peddling all these years. I'm going to give the Aquaman movie a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was pretty okay, and it was a funny watch. Okay, for those of you who don't live in the Philippines or in Manila, you're probably wondering what these things are. These are potato chips made by Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill is probably the biggest local chip manufacturer here in Manila, and they license Aquaman. And if you don't know what piatos are, you're probably wondering what piatos or they're called piatos. They come in all sorts of flavors. They come in cheese, which is my kid's favorite, and sour cream and onion. This is my favorite, actually. They also come in barbecue, pizza, and roast beef. Their latest incarnation is the spicy seafood, which to me wasn't all that great. I actually tasted this one. And they come in, I actually thought they only came in one look, which is the King Arthur Aquaman look, but apparently they came in 3 versions. You've got the original Aquaman look when he faces off with Orm for the first time, and he's got his mother's trident. And then you've got the more popular one, which is the Aquaman as King Arthur, and he's got the trident of King Atlan. And finally, you have Mera. I had no idea. I thought it was just this, and it's amazing how they have all these 3 variants, and yeah, it's pretty cool. Mera's got to be my favorite, and yeah. All right, if you want to know what's inside the Aquaman, the Piatos potato chip bag, they're actually pretty unique. They are a hexagon type of chip, like this, very thin. They were amazing. When I was a kid growing up, I could finish like bags of these things. My parents would like stop me from eating because, you know, junk food wasn't good for you when you were growing up as a kid. But I can tell you right now, these are pretty tasty. And for those who have not tasted the spicy seafood version of Piatos, they actually taste like Oishi. If you remember the Oishi prawn crackers, they're not as spicy. They have a little bit of a salty taste, but not as much, very subtle. And I'm missing all that seafood flavor. There's not a lot of seafood flavor. It's wait, let me check. Yeah, it does smell like a little bit of shrimp in it, but there's not a lot of seafood flavor. There's like the crab stick shrimp type of flavor, and the spice isn't like a black pepper type of spice. It's more of like a ginger spice with a little bit of chili, very mild chili. So a little bit disappointed with the flavor on this one, but it's still a good chip. I think I still like this better than the pizza flavor or the roast beef flavor. This probably is gonna come in 3rd for me. I like the cheese, sour cream and onion. It's probably gonna be coming 3rd. So don't worry, they're not paying for this video. Jack and Jill is not paying me to do this video. I just love this chip. One of my Piatos has been my favorite when I was a kid, and my kids do like them, so there you go. So hope you enjoyed this little video commentary on the movie Aquaman. Go see it in theaters. It's actually pretty good. And thanks for watching.